We all have the fantasy, don't we? That specific, romantic Emily in Paris dream. You know the one. You quit the boring office job, you move to a cobblestone street in the 4th arrondissement, you open a cute little cafe where the only stress is choosing the right vintage of Bordeaux and chatting with the charming locals. It's the ultimate escape. But here is a reality check. The service industry is a battlefield, and Parisian Brasserie Simulator, it doesn't want you to just dream about the croissant, it wants you to sweat for it. I went into this game expecting a romantic passive escape, and I ended up managing the most stressful, complex, and oddly beautiful business empire I've ever built. This isn't just a game about cooking, it's a game about survival. It's about the friction between the dream of the aesthetic and the brutal reality of the lunch rush. And honestly, I think I found the new king of Cosy, and this is why you need to play it. Today we are doing a deep dive, and when I say deep, I mean we are scraping the bottom of the stock pot, because every now and then a simulator comes along that stops being a game and starts feeling like a second life. We've seen it with Stardew Valley for farming, where you obsess over crop yields. We've seen it with Gas Station Simulator, where you somehow find joy in sweeping dust. But the restaurant genre? It's always been a tricky one to nail. It usually splits into two camps. On one side you have the chaotic arcade-style party games like Overcooked, which are fun but elevate your cortisol levels to dangerous heights. And on the other side you have the dry, text-heavy management tycoons that feel more like using Excel than cooking food. Enter Parisian Brasserie Simulator. On the surface, it looks like a vibe check. The screenshots promise pretty aesthetics, chill lo-fi beats, and interior design. But after sinking 40 hours into this early access title, I realised that the Cosy label is hiding a beast. This is a game that respects the math of capitalism as much as it respects the art of the souffle. It is a tycoon game with teeth, but it is also a service rush that demands perfection. Today we are going to break down exactly why this hybrid approach might just make it the best simulator on the market right now. But before we crack our first egg, I have a quick question for you. Are you more of a cozy decorator or a hardcore tycoon? Let me know in the comments, and if you're enjoying this deep dive, consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell. We're on a mission to build the internet's most comforting gaming sanctuary, and we'd love to have you in the Tea Time crew. Before we open the doors to our brasserie, we need to talk about why we play these games. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? We come home from our real jobs tired and stressed, only to turn on our PCs and go to work again. Why is Power Wash Simulator satisfying? Why is Supermarket Simulator addictive? It's because these games offer something real life rarely does: tangible, linear progress. In the real world, you work hard and maybe nothing happens. In a simulator, you scrub the dirt goes away, and you get a ding sound and some money. Cause and effect, effort and reward. Parisian Brasserie Simulator taps into this primal desire for order and progress, but it adds a layer of emotion and investment that those other games lack. In Power Wash Sim, you were just cleaning a stranger's house. Here, you are building your place. This is your corner of the world. The game sits in a fascinating middle ground. It has the hardcore tycoon DNA, the numbers, the margins, the wages, but it also has the cozy decorator soul of The Sims, and then just to keep you on your toes, it throws in the service rush of a Diner Dash game. It is trying to be three things at once, and usually that is a recipe for disaster, but here it's a recipe for a Michelin star. Let's start with the first half of the gameplay loop, the prep phase. This is where the tycoon brain lives. Every in-game day begins in silence, the restaurant is closed, the shutters are down, the streets of Paris are quiet. This is my favourite part of the game because it is purely cerebral. This is where you win or lose the day before you even serve a single customer. The core of this phase is the menu engineering, and I use the word engineering deliberately. You don't just pick food because it looks yummy, you have to build a menu that is operationally functional. Let's say you want to serve the onion soup. It's a classic high profit item, but look at the stats. It has a long cooking time and requires specific cheese that is expensive. If you put onion soup, beef bourguignon, and roast chicken on the menu all at the same time, 3 dishes that require long oven times, you're going to bottleneck your kitchen. Your stove only has 4 burners. If they are all occupied by slow cooking stews, where are you going to cook the omelette for the guy at table 4? Now, if you want to represent the crew while you're grinding out your own restaurant shifts, we finally have the Tea Time merch drop live. We've got the charcoal grey hoodies that are basically a hugging clothing form, and of course the signature coral dot mugs. You can find the link below the video. Every purchase helps keep these long-form reviews ad-free and honest. You have to balance your hot station dishes with your cold station dishes. You need salads and charcuterie boards that can be prepped instantly to buy your chefs time to cook the steaks. This is actual restaurant management theory applied to a cozy game. And then there is the pricing. The game lets you set your own prices. You can be a cheap, high-volume tourist trap selling frozen baguettes for €2, or you can be an exclusive high-end bistro selling a €45 filet mignon. But if you raise the price, the customer's expectations go up. They expect better furniture, they expect faster service, and they expect better wine. I found myself staring at the supplier list for 20 minutes, debating if I should switch from the generic butter to the artisanal Normandy butter. The artisanal butter costs 15% more. Will the customers taste the difference? Will it increase my restaurant rating? Or will it just eat into my margin so I can't afford to fix the broken toilet? These are the micro decisions that make the game feel surprisingly deep. It's not just click to cook, it's think to survive. The other half of the prep phase is the layout, and this is where the Sims players will lose their minds. The customization is robust, but it serves a function. You aren't just placing tables to look pretty, you are managing flow. If you pack the tables too close together to get more customers, your waiters and the AI pathfinding will struggle. They will bump into each other, service will slow down, and customers will get angry. I spent an hour just arranging my two tops to create a perfect waiter highway from the kitchen to the dining room, and when you see that plan work, when the service starts and the staff move like a ballet dancer through the gaps you left, it is incredibly satisfying. You feel like a genius architect. Then you take a deep breath and you hit open. The silence breaks, the music shifts from that contemplative planning music to a slightly more upbeat jazzy rhythm. The first customers walk in, and suddenly you aren't playing a tycoon game anymore, you're playing an action game. This is the loop that hooked me. I described it as meditative and repetitive, and I stand by that, but it's a very specific kind of meditation. It's the zen of action. Look at the rhythm. Seat the guest, take the order, run to the bar, pour the wine, serve the wine, run to the pass, grab the food, serve the food, clear the table. Seat, order, serve, clean, seat, order, serve, clean. It's repetitive, yes, but it's hypnotic. When things are going well, you enter a flow state, you stop thinking about the buttons, your brain just sees table 3 needs water and your hand moves. It feels like you're dancing. But remember, this is a simulator, things rarely go perfectly, and this is where the game shows its brilliance by introducing friction. The game throws curveballs, a customer maybe changes their mind, a dish burns, or a waiter gets stuck, and suddenly your perfect ballet turns into damage control. This is where the service rush comes in. You have to prioritize. Do you serve the food that is getting cold, or do you seat the VIP critic who is waiting at the door? Do you stop to clean the dirty table so you can seat a new group, or do you help the chef who is overwhelmed with orders? You are constantly triaging, juggling spinning plates, both literally and metaphorically, and when you pull it off, when you manage to clear the backlog and get everyone fed and happy, the dopamine hit is massive. It feels physically rewarding in a way that just watching a number go up on a spreadsheet never does. What separates Parisian Brasserie Simulator from a simple clicker game is the depth of the systems underneath that rush. Let's talk about the AI staff. In the beginning, you are doing everything yourself. You are the chef, the waiter, the janitor, and it's frantic. But as you earn money, you hire help. And this isn't just buying a robot, you hire specific people with specific stats. You might find a chef who is incredibly fast but has a high stress trait, or you might find a waiter who is charismatic, getting you bigger tips, but maybe they walk slowly. You have to build a team that complements your menu and your layout. If you have a huge dining room, you need fast walkers. If you have a complex menu, you need high-skilled chefs. And you have to manage their happiness. If you work them too hard, they might get grumpy, they might even quit. I grew genuinely attached to my first sous chef, we'll call him Pierre. We went through the trenches together, and when he leveled enough to handle the grill station on his own, I felt like a proud parent. This progression from a solo frantic owner to the conductor of a well-oiled orchestra is the narrative arc of the game. You aren't just playing a loop, you are evolving out of the loop. You are automating the tasks that you used to do yourself so you can focus on the bigger picture. That sense of growth is what keeps you playing for hour 10, hour 20, and hour 40. We have to talk about the visuals. The lighting engine is the star of the show, and there's a specific transition at 6 PM when the golden hour hits. The way the sunlight catches the dust motes in your dining room, it honestly makes the whole screen glow, and it's one of the most heartwarming aesthetics I've played all year. The developers clearly spent time on the human element. When you watch your customers, they aren't just static blocks, they have lived-in animations. They lean into conversations, they steam up their glasses with soup, they look longingly out the window at the rain. It creates a sense of immersion that most simulators ignore. And for my fellow players who love the details, the food assets are high fidelity. When you serve a beef bourguignon, you can see the individual herbs. It doesn't look like a low-poly mess, it looks somewhat editorial quality. It feels like you're flipping through the pages of a premium indie gaming magazine. Now let's get real. My mission is to provide honest, quality reviews, and even a masterpiece has cracks. The biggest hurdle right now is probably the UI scaling. If you're playing on a Steam Deck, the charcoal text card looks beautiful, but the font size for ingredient quantities is tiny. It lacks the accessibility I'd like to see for a cozy game. I also noticed some visual vibration in the menus where certain icons overlap, and while the game loop is satisfying, the empty world syndrome is real. You are a trusted guide inside the four walls of your brasserie, but once you look outside, the NPCs on the street are a little bit robotic. They don't have the same spirited life that your customers do. And lastly, the human element can sometimes break immersion when AI pathfinding fails. Seeing a waiter walk into a chair for 30 seconds isn't very grounded. It's a bug that I hope the devs prioritize because it turns a relaxed atmosphere into a frustrating one very quickly. So is Parisian Brasserie Simulator the next cozy hit? In my opinion, it is more than that. It is a benchmark for the genre. It balances the need for mechanics with the need for beauty. For the price of a couple of real-world lattes, you get a sanctuary, you get a place to practice tea time, to take a breath and engage with a game that values your creativity over your stress levels. If you loved Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, but you've always wanted a bit more editorial polish and business depth, this is your next obsession. It's honest, it's heartwarming, and it's a definitive guide to the cozy side of gaming. That's all for today's deep dive into Parisian Brasserie Simulator. If you're picking up the game, let me know in the comments what's the name of your brasserie. And before you go, if you want to support the channel and get some exclusive perks, consider becoming a channel member. Members get early access to our curated best of lists and special emotes for our live streams, amongst other things. I'm JT, this has been your guide to Parisian Brasserie Simulator. Stay cozy, keep the brew warm, and I'll see you in the next one.